Welcome to the Way Forward Talks. I'm Amrita, and the Way Forward is a company where we are helping people grow themselves to the next level and prosper and empower many more future generations. So, today we are very happy and honored to have a Rotarian with us. He is the founder of Born to Win, an author, a person who's completely into mindfulness and conscious leadership, and he's also enabling Swadharma in action, and happiness at work is what he's creating through his energy, and his energy is really captivating. So, very, very honored and happy to welcome Rotarian Ram Kumar Seshu, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very happy. I would like to know more about you in your own words, sir.
Well, my journey started about 43 years ago. I used to be started as a lecturer, and then very quickly I got into advertising and marketing. And for about 22 years, I worked in advertising, worked on some iconic brands that you use on a day-to-day basis. And then about 22 years later, in 2003, uh, I decided to pursue my passion and get into doing what I love to do, which is to help people help themselves in a joyous way. And that's how Born to Win happened.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Born to Win was born. That's very beautiful, sir.
Yes,
Very happy
in a
about
way,
it.
that's right.
Wonderful, sir. So thank you so much for your time today. And I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting discussion of discussions. We are going to have multiple with you. I'm sure as your knowledge is so vast and wide, this will be a good beginning, I hope. So, going into the
Thank you.
questions, talking about entrepreneurship, as you have become an entrepreneur, in your entrepreneurial journey, how do you keep yourself motivated?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, as I told you about, my entrepreneurial journey with Born to Win began about 2 decades ago, but my entrepreneurial mindset really started about 40 years ago because advertising is a very entrepreneurial field. Okay. And the reason I set up Born to Win was that I saw that there was, the clients that we handled those days, and these are large multinational companies, large Indian companies, medium-sized Indian companies. I realized that there was a fundamental disconnect. People were working very hard, but they were not really experiencing any great joy. Okay. I saw very, very talented individuals, very gifted people, men, women who had worked very hard, acquired all the kind of degrees that they should have got, engineering, management, etc. But they were all trapped in cycles of disengagement. Okay, going through the motions of work without any meaning or a purpose. And so, what keeps me motivated is what sparked Born to Win those days, Amrita.
Wonderful.
That happiness is not a byproduct of success; it's the foundation of it.
Yes. Yes.
I'm very keen that human resources should be transformed into human capital
Mm-hmm.
by unleashing the potential that's already there within people. And that's how this whole journey started of mine. And what keeps me motivated after so many years is when I see the transformation in people's eyes, when they shift from, I can't do it,
Mm.
to I can do it, and that confidence that comes across the thousands of people, almost 200,000 people that we worked on. And every time, this Monday I was in Cochin,
Mm-hmm.
and it was such a joy to hear people, say, I can, you can, we can. I think that's what keeps me going. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, sir. Very nice. I think that energy when we get back from people, our energy, goes one step higher. Very nice. Well put, sir. Nice. So now, as we are talking about entrepreneurial journey and your lesson that you are, you have learned a lot of lessons and many things would have come across. So what was the biggest lesson you have learned? And you always talk about self-discovery. So how has that self-discovery worked and why is it important?
So, I'm a great believer in the Bhagavad Gita, and I've been using, this song divine for the last so many years, even during my journey in advertising and now in Born to Win. Born to Win, is based extensively on the learnings of the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
And I realized one very, very important point there. Self discovery is not a destination, it's a discipline. You need to go through the abhyasa
Mhm.
that that is required on a day-to-day basis. Okay. uh, it's not really just the expertise or the strategies that drive transformation. Believe me that I when I started understanding my own patterns of work, my own limitations, my own strengths, my own weaknesses, and figuring out how can I focus on my strengths, how can I get things going. And that's when I realized that self discovery, and I think the question that you've asked is brilliant. Self discovery is a discipline, you know
Beautiful.
and therefore in the Bhagavad Gita there's a beautiful shloka. I think it
Mhm.
is chapter 6, shloka 6, which says that for one who has conquered the self by the self, then your self becomes a friend. And if you've
Wow.
not, then the self can become an enemy.
Beautiful.
And that's how, this whole self discovery process of Born to Win really works.
Nice.
That we need to get that abhyasa, that discipline happening in life.
Yes.
And that is really, really what works. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's a lot of discipline. It's a lot of doing the right things at the right time and doing it regularly, and that really works extremely well.
100%, 100%. So it becomes a practice, and without that, you kind of feel the day is incomplete. So I think that was a very nice way of putting it. Wonderful. So moving on, there is always an importance of a brand in human life as well as in the business world. So,
Oh yeah.
what is the way for setting a brand value in the business world, and what are the few strategies you can suggest over the years you've learned? So you can suggest those.
Sure. Many years ago, I read a beautiful quote that, brand is built in the minds of a consumer just the way a bird builds a nest. Okay.
Mhm.
Just chances on some scraps along the way and it, brings it in and integrates it into the nest. And the same way, brands are built in the minds of a consumer. Okay. So, as an individual, if you want to build a brand in the minds of your consumers, of your clients, of your the people that you're trying to help, then you have to be very, very careful about a couple of things. You have to be very careful about what they are building in their mind, right?
Okay.
So, what are a few things to do? Number one, always remember maybe it's the sizzle that sells the steak,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately, it's the steak that really, really sells itself.
Yes.
So, you must build authenticity over hype. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't ever think that hype will work. I'm the bestest, I'm the greatest, I'm the mostest. Hype will get you to a certain point, but if you're not going to be authentic, it's not going to be working. So even when we crafted our tagline, Amrita, I can, you can, we can, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was something that we thought about very deeply, saying, can we actually deliver this?
Beautiful.
It's easy to say I can, it's easy to say you can, it's easy to say we can, but actually, can this be delivered? Is it just a lot of hype? Can we be authentic about it? And 22 years of working with people like Toyota, ITC, ISRO, Brigade, of delivering this on a day-to-day basis. And I think that is really, really something that has worked. The second thing that we need to work on is long-term relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Brands, especially for people like me, like you, and people who are watching this, we need to build on long-term relationships. You see, because the whole point is that the networks that we create, the alumni that we work with, some of our clients have been with us for 22 years. Some of the people who
Yes.
work with us, Sayogis, have been with us for 22 years.
Beautiful.
And therefore, it is those long-term relationships that build brands. We
Yes.
need to get out of this transaction orientation that I need a
Mm-hmm.
sale today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need a sale. Everybody needs a sale. Who doesn't need a sale? I mean, you need money in the bank. You need to fund your dreams. You need to do stuff like that. But at the same time, you can't sacrifice relationships at the altar of transactions.
True.
The third thing that you need to look at when you want to build a brand is that, it must give you results. That is something which is extremely, extremely important. Okay. At the end of the day, there is a moment of truth in every brand.
Mm-hmm.
And that moment of truth will only happen when the brand will deliver what it promises to deliver. So you need these results that are completely evidence-based, not just puffery.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One more thing that I think comes to my mind is that, you must develop some kind of an expertise. You must
Yes.
have a niche which you should call your own, right? Like, for instance, our niche is we have a 4D system: diagnosis, design, deployment, discipline.
Okay. Okay.
And I think, this is again based on the Bhagavad Gita itself. So you
Mm-hmm.
must develop a niche. That is something important. And
Yeah.
finally, I can't uh, I can't overemphasize this point. I mean, I'm telling it to you last, but it's not the least.
Mm-hmm.
Values driven leadership. Okay.
Okay.
That there is a certain amount of value that you need to deliver every time, every interaction, in every which way. You need to deliver that values. And that becomes so very important. When we wrote Born to Win so many years ago, we said we will help people help themselves in a joyous way. And we have
Mm-hmm.
not moved away from that
Beautiful.
one bit in the last 22 years.
Nice.
So these five things: authenticity, long-term relationships, uh, delivering what you promised, niche, and values that you want to practice on a day-to-day basis. I guess these become very, very important for any brand to deliver. Take any of the long-standing Indian brands, Amul, the Tatas.
Mm.
All of them are evidence of this.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Very nice. I think we got a very large answer in a nutshell, and I think that will be something which we can ponder on for quite some time. So thank you so much for that.
Sure.
Nice. So going on to every entrepreneur or every person has a phase where they are down and up. There's a sine wave kind of life. Life. We have many things in life going on up and down. So resilience is very important for everyone. So how do we cultivate resilience in the face of adversity?
Good one. So, what is adversity? The point is, I think we need to first of all understand adversity itself. Adversity is not falling down. Okay. If you walk, you will fall.
Mhm.
That is a guarantee. Correct. If you
Yes.
run, you will fall.
Yes.
Adversity is not the falling. Adversity is about falling and choosing to remain there.
Okay.
That is failure. Okay. So, how do you develop resilience? I think you need to develop resilience in a couple of very interesting ways. Number one, you need to, you know, when you perform any action, there will be an outcome. A series of outcomes will create an impact. Okay. Sometimes these outcomes don't go your way.
Right.
Okay. Uh, can't be helped. But you need to detach yourself from that outcome that will happen when you take an action. Because when you detach yourself from that outcome that happens when any action happens, only then will you have a chance to focus on the impact you want to create.
Mm-hmm.
I think, in the Bhagavad Gita, we've got that lovely shloka which says, Karmanya Vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So the
Mm-hmm.
whole point is this, that look, focus on giving your best effort.
Okay.
Don't worry about the outcome. Outcomes will go your way, outcomes will not go your way. That is perfectly all right. Some people will buy what you're saying, some people will not buy what you're saying. Some
Okay.
people will accept what you want, some people will not accept what you're saying. It's all right. But keep focusing back onto the action so
Right.
that you never lose sight of the impact that you want to create. That's number one. The second thing on resilience is that you need to create your own safety network. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When things are not going well, we've created a fantastic Sayogi network, and we're now building that to about 500 people, and I'm hoping that you will join us as a Sayogi. The
Yes.
whole idea of this Sayogi network is to build a safety network for people, so that if by chance you fall, there is always someone who can extend a helping hand and say, "Hey, come on, you can do better than that, and let's get it going." So resilience requires this particular Sayogi network. What else? Continuous learning. You are all a learner. I mean,
Yes. Yes.
the day you think you know something about something, that's the day you're ready to die. So if
Yes.
you're a
Yes.
constant learner, that curiosity will keep going for you. I
100%.
think you should bring happiness in every day. You should be happy as a human being.
Correct.
Last night I went and met some classmates of mine. I'm so happy today that I met them. Everybody is doing so very well in life. So I guess these are things that you require to build a resilience.
Beautiful.
The resilience that you need to, when you fall sometimes, yeah, it's okay.
Nice, nice, wonderful, wonderful. So I really resonate with the point of continuous learning because when I see people who stop to learn, they kind of lose that resilience. But when they start back, I have seen myself transform people through those things, and when they come back, they are coming bouncing back with 100 times of the energy. So I think that's a very important point, and thank you so much for that. Going on to now, you're an entrepreneur. You started as an entrepreneur, then you've become a leader. Now you're facing many people. You're doing great in your field. And what is a non-negotiable skill any startup owner needs to have? What is that thing you see in a startup owner which never is not negotiable according to you?
Wow. Your questions are so loaded. Each of them is good enough for a, you know, interesting TED talk. Um, I think, what is non-negotiable for a startup, especially for today.
Mhm.
We are in very, very exciting times, right? Uh, India is now $4 trillion economy.
Right.
Very shortly, we will become a $10 trillion economy in the next 5 years or so.
Yes.
And as a $10 trillion economy, we're going to be the third largest economy in the world.
Yes.
And you can imagine, as the third largest economy, the amount of opportunities that are there for people like you, people like me,
100%.
for the younger people is immense, is unimaginable.
True.
Okay. So what is one non-negotiable thing, as you very interestingly asked me? I guess one skill which is non-negotiable is self-awareness. Okay. You need to be aware of who you are.
Mm.
You need to be aware of your strengths. You need to be aware of your biases, your strength, your triggers, your blind spots, your weaknesses. Okay. Everything but everything you need. So you need a process by which you need to be more self-aware of who you are as an individual. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got that going, guess what? To my mind, self-awareness can help. I guess it can do in maybe it'll help you in three ways. Okay, one, better decision making. When you recognize yourself, your ego, your fears, your strengths, your biases, etc., you'll be able to make better decision making. Two, I think your leadership will be more authentic, more resilient, like the question that you asked a little earlier. And more importantly, I think that your growth is going to be sustainable. Remember, this is a long haul. In the next
Yes.
5 years, things are going to change to such an extent, it's unbelievable.
True.
And
True.
when that change happens, to sustain that growth, not just to have a flash in the pan. So to me, I think it is that, that self-awareness that's important.
Yes.
So, we need to have a process by which you examine this
Hmm.
regularly, maybe
Hmm.
on a
Hmm.
weekly basis, saying that, uh, what are some things that have worked? What are some things that have not worked?
Correct.
What are some things that I need to improve upon? And maybe it's a good idea also to have a conversation with someone, someone who's unbiased, uh, who can help you, who can say, hey, you know what? Maybe this is something that you should let go.
Yes, yes. Beautiful, beautiful. So that conversation, deep conversations are required actually. And as you mentioned, self-awareness along with revisiting the decisions and the strengths, weaknesses is very important. I think that's a wonderful point. Great. We would like to know more about Born to Win, your company's vision, the products and the services you offer, and how have you grown over it in the past decade, I think.
Well, thank you for that. Born to win, you know, is a process. Okay, and it's a process to transform organizations by unlocking the full potential within every individual. Okay, so that how do we actually work with people? How do we get people to start thinking I can, telling each other you can, believing we can? Okay, that is something which is our entire vision. We started this so many years ago. My vision now is to create 5,000 Sahyogis who in turn will go and help create 1 million enlightened entrepreneurs.
Wonderful.
That's the vision that we have right now. Okay, so how do we ensure that we can do that? First of all, we live what we say. I mean, uh, every one of us in the team across the country, across our offices in Bangalore, Chennai, and Delhi, we live this philosophy of I can, you can, we can to the
Mhm.
fullest. Okay, that is
Beautiful.
something that we do. Our sankalpa is extremely strong. Okay, we uh, every assignment to us, we ask ourselves a simple question saying, our sankalpa was, let's create happiness at work, right? So
Mhm.
how are we going to help in this particular intervention in making sure that we do that, right? So that's how we keep on track of what we're doing. This yogis that we're building, 5,000 people that I want to build this year, 2026. The deal is to get to about 500, and then eventually scale it to about 5,000. And just imagine, 5,000 people who are creating joy, who are creating happiness, who are helping people grow their businesses, creating artha from a
Yes.
dharma perspective.
Beautiful.
Just imagine the kind of power that will be. And then to create 1 million enlightened entrepreneurs, who are pursuing dharma
Mhm.
based artha,
Right. Right.
arthasya moolam dharma. I mean, can we do that?
Beautiful. Beautiful. I think very happy to hear about the 5,000 Sahyogis, your vision, your mission, what you're having, the love you have, the passion you have for the company, and the soul of the company is so visible outside and it's so clear. So thank you so much, and really wishing Born to Win a great, great, great growth in the next few years. Let it blossom and reach greater heights. So that's a beautiful thing. Coming back to, like, we're talking about the startups and empowering people and giving them happiness, what is a culture of innovation? How do we foster a culture of innovation and adaptability in an organization? Because that becomes the backbone and growth happens through it. So, how can we build a culture of innovation in an organization?
First of all, innovation is key. I mean, there's no question about innovation. Um, I think if you can add uh, another word to innovation, which is adaptability, that's again something which is very, very important. So, how do you build that culture within an organization? You must build this psychology that it is safe to experiment, fail, learn. That is something which is very, very important. Okay, that yes, it is. You must experiment. You will fail. You will learn, and you will experiment again. Okay, so that's the virtuous cycle that you need to get onto: experiment, fail, learn, experiment, fail, learn. So and it's safe to do so. You must build that culture. So how do you do that? You must normalize experimentation, which means that if there is anything that you want to do, let's experiment. Okay,
Mhm.
how do you do that? Can you imagine, one of the things that I talk to all my clients, and we talk to all our clients across the country, 250, 300 of them, is uh, instead of, when somebody comes up with an idea which is different, the normal tendency is let's poke holes into this idea as to why it will not work. I say, let's change this thinking. This new India, which is this, $10 trillion economy, doesn't need people to poke holes into it. You need people to turn around and say, great, now let's see how can we make it happen.
Nice.
And in this, let's make it happen, we will learn, we will fail, we will fall, we will learn. That's perfectly all right. But if at the experimentation stage itself, with the idea you start poking holes, then you won't even experiment, you won't even fall, you won't even learn.
Correct.
So you must normalize experimentation, number one. Number two, this I can, you can, we can mindset is so important. So you must encourage people saying, come on, you can do it. Let's go and do it. Yeah. Let's try
Mm.
and do it. Let's give it a shot. I mean, how does it matter? Let's give it a shot. Works,
Yes.
it works. If it doesn't work, let's learn, right? What you liked a little earlier, continuous learning. Okay.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And celebrate failure. It's okay.
Yes.
Right? It's okay. I mean, you failed, you failed. It's a big deal. So now let's sit down and work on how are we going to make it work, right?
Correct.
I
Correct.
still remember somebody told me a quote some time back. Somebody said, Edison, you failed so many times to light the bulb. He said, no, there were so many steps that I took to light this bulb.
Correct.
I didn't fail, right? Um, so the whole idea, I'll give you a live example of what I'm saying. When COVID hit us, it
Mm-hmm.
hit us badly because our entire business was to go meet people physically, talk to companies, talk to groups, talk to individuals.
Right.
And we built our entire business model on the basis of in-person training.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly we had to pivot and move into virtual.
Virtual. Yes.
Now, how do you create an experiential online journey? Okay, it was not just getting onto a Zoom platform or a Team platform or a Google Meet platform, but how do you create this experiential journey? How do you make sure that the journey is there? So we
Yes.
experimented, we fell many times on our face. We had people saying, this is rubbish, it is not going to work for us. And we learned. And now, thanks to COVID, our program, especially our online programs, are now being run with people from Seattle to Sydney.
Beautiful.
That would never have happened earlier if we hadn't pivoted, if we hadn't experimented, if we hadn't said, okay, it won't work, it won't work. We were very badly criticized in the first couple of months, saying this is complete rubbish. But then now we've got a model that works.
Nice.
So this is the important thing that is required.
Beautiful, 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 really. I think that example which you gave actually made us feel how much effort has gone into Born to Win and how much effort you have put into, bring it to this place. And so great on that. And the answer was a whole packed journey for us. We have to run through this and we have to learn further. So very impactful answer. Thank you so much for that. So we will move with a little fast pace and coming towards the end of the discussion, and we will connect back again for one more. I'm sure there are a lot many questions which are bombarding in my head, but I can't put it in just one interview. So we'll do one more or a couple more soon. Just one more question. Let's talk about team building, how to build a team effectively and maintaining a high performing team.
So first of all, when you're talking of team, I mean, the famous acronym for team is together each achieves more, right? That's
Yes,
that's the
yes.
acronym for team. So how does this work? It'll only work if that together each achieves more is built on joy and happiness.
Mhm.
There are days, if I'm in your team, I may not be scoring all the goals. I may not be achieving what I'm supposed to be achieving. But the rest of the teammates must make sure that there is still joy, there is still happiness in the team,
Yes,
because you never know when I'm going to turn around and get going. So
wonderful.
there are a couple of important points that I've learned on team. Okay.
Mhm.
One, if you want to build a high performance team, if you want to build a team which is happy, okay,
Mhm.
there are a couple of important things that you need to do. Okay. The first thing that you need to do is that, when everybody has certain talent, bring it to the fore. Invest in that self discovery of helping people to come up. Okay.
Wonderful.
That's something which is very, very important. Set very clear expectations. Give autonomy, but set expectations which are very, very clear and explicit, right?
Yes.
Get into a feed forward mechanism, not a feedback kind of a mechanism.
Mhm.
Feedback is done on dead bodies.
Mhm.
Postmortems are done on dead bodies. Feedback
Mhm.
is a postmortem. We
Mm-hmm.
need to do feed forward, saying, hey, how can we get this better? What
Okay.
is it that we can do, to get better?
Wonderful.
Celebrate your wins.
Wonderful.
Celebrate your wins. Every small win, celebrate it. Create a model of joy. I think if you do this, you will really, really be able to build a great team.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. I think these are things which have been, said in a different way. People have perceived many things in different way, and this is going to shed light on that and change this perspective, I'm sure. So really appreciate your thought process and thank you for sharing your learnings with us. I think that was a very big gold mine we have cracked into, and we are not going to leave it in one. We're going to get back to you for more. So really honored. So a small piece of advice, as we have discussed so much. One last piece of thought you want to leave the people with?
Good one. I think, the last thought that I want to leave people with is a lot of us focus on activity. Okay.
Mhm.
I think we need to start focusing now on outcome and impact.
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Because if you don't, if you don't focus on the outcome that every activity will have, then you won't create the impact you want to create in life. So
Yes.
focus on the activity, focus on the action that you need to perform right now. You will get an outcome.
Mhm.
Don't get worried about that outcome. Become a sthita prajna there and start making sure that every action of yours, every outcome of yours will deliver an impact in life.
Wonderful.
Because that's what we want
Yes.
each of us to do.
So, be impact driven is a very nice way of ending a beautiful, very power packed discussion we have had today. I'm really honored to have you here and hearing all your insights. I think this is going to be a very good beginning to 2026 for many. So, very, very happy to
Wonderful.
have a wonderful and very powerful discussion with you. Looking forward to many more in 2026 and wishing Born to Win and the Sahyogis a wonderful journey. I'm sure they are going to create a mega impact this year. So, thank you so much for your time, sir. It was amazing discussing with you, learning from you, learning through you. And yes, the impact that you have created in us is going to blossom our year. So, thank you so much for that.
Thank you. And last request through you to your viewers. If any of you would like to consider becoming a Sayogi or Born to Win, please do reach out to me. You can reach out to us on the Born to Win website, borntowin.co.in, or through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best,
Yes,
source to reach out to me. Because as I said, we need people who believe in themselves, who believe in the potential of others. And that is so, so important right now.
wonderful.
Amrita, thank you so much for this opportunity to talk to you.
Nice, sir.
I've
Yes.
enjoyed your questions. I think, your questions challenged me a lot. Uh, and I think
Happy
that
about
that
that.
is the hallmark of a great interviewer. Thank you so
Thank,
much.
thank you so much, sir.
And looking
Yes.
forward to being in touch.
Sure, sir. Looking forward to that. And your LinkedIn link will be in the description. So people will be looking forward to discuss with you. They'll connect with you, surely. So wishing you all the best
Thank you
and
so much.
happy 2026 in advance. And thank you so much for your time.
And a very great 2026 to you too and your viewers. Thank you.
Thank you.